Hey guys, welcome to Tuscany. I've been here for a month and I want to share with you my top 5 best and worst experiences from Tuscany. So here we go. Number 1 is definitely to go into the Leaning Tower. So you can go see it, but to actually pay to get into it. It's kind of a fun experience because the whole thing is obviously tilted. So when you walk up, you feel like your navigation is off a little bit and it's all tilted inside too, and it's just a great view. Getting into this tower costs about 18 euros, but it's well worth the money. So if you're going to see the Leaning Tower of Pisa, I would definitely recommend the hike up there. Number 2, do a cooking class. We did one with Ryan Hanley. He's American, he's based in Tuscany, married to a Tuscan woman. He knows all the local culture and all that stuff, so you're not missing out on anything in that aspect. He invited us into his home. We did the cooking in his own kitchen. He had great recipes and we ate outside overlooking the Tuscan landscape. It is seriously one of the best experiences I had during this whole month. So if you're in Tuscany, I highly suggest looking up a cooking class. I'll link to the video that we did up here, and you can also find the information in the description below. But you can do cooking classes all over Tuscany, so just look it up online and find one that suits you best. Number 3, go to Siena. I loved Siena. There were tourists there, but not so much that it felt completely overrun by people. You can still go to some of the side streets and experience some of the more local areas, which I loved. And it is a hilltop town, even though it is bigger. So you still have this feeling of walking down a street and then all of a sudden you look to the left and there's this steep road just going straight down. So it has some of those elements, which I love, but it's still a bigger city. The Del Campo Square is amazing, and it's really just like a brick beach. People just hang out there, you sit there. If you want to save some money, go to one of the cheaper places, buy your food and bring it to El Campo, and you can eat it there, and it's amazing. They have great architecture, great food, great views, basically everything you need, so go check it out. Number 4 is Florence. It's the biggest city in Tuscany and you can't really miss it. It has the beautiful Duomo, the cathedral. It was one of the biggest churches in the world when it was built, and it's gorgeous. Florence has beautiful streets, beautiful architecture, there's tons of art. Obviously you can go to the Uffizi, but there's also a lot of street art. And even on the buildings there are still really old art paintings that's been painted on there, probably when the buildings were built. Go to the Ponte Vecchio, there's an incredible ambience on that bridge, and I just love the whole concept of having stores on the bridge. The views from Piazza Michelangelo are amazing, and the hike up there with all the steps will just make you feel not as bad because of all the pasta you'll eat while you're here. My number 5 is the landscape in Tuscany. It is known for that. It's beautiful, and just go explore it, rent a car, bring your own, whatever it takes, and drive up to some of the hilltop towns. To me, they all look beautiful. I wouldn't know how to choose one over the other, but there are so many of them, and just make sure that you go out and explore at least one of them. Okay, now on to the 5 worst things about Tuscany. We've been here for a month, and the first thing would definitely be traffic. Traffic is so chaotic down here, and the way that they kind of plan their traffic and their streets is just different from what I'm used to. So be aware when you come, it's definitely doable. It just takes some adjusting. The number 2 is related to that, and that is parking. It is packed in Europe in most cities, and down here in Italy, small narrow streets, lots of tourists, a lot of locals, it is just packed. So finding parking can be really hard. You have to be patient and maybe look up online before you head out where you can find a parking area close to where you want to go to, and then walk the rest of the way. It's doable, don't let it scare you, just be prepared. The third thing is that siesta, sorry Italians, but that is just annoying. I know we have them different places in Europe, but to me, the whole being closed in the middle of the day, a chunk of hours, it's just not working for me. We have a baby, he's only 9 months, and he needs to nap. And the Italian siesta thing is not working well with his nap times. So a lot of times I felt like we were exploring cities where like half of the stores were open, half of them were closed, so you don't really get that whole real feel of what a place is like. Obviously, if you're single, you're a couple, whatever, then you don't have to worry about it as much because you can just stay out at night and do your things there. But to me, it was just frustrating. Also, it seems like the times vary. Some stores will be open, some will close at 1, open at 4, some will close at 3 and open at 7. It all depends, it's different. I haven't been able to find the system. Maybe you can, let me know down in the comments. But that is just one thing that can get really frustrating. Also, the times that you find on Google might not be right. So even though it says that a vineyard might be open at a certain time, it might not be. So I think the best thing is, if you want to really go to somewhere, you have to probably call them before and check that they're open. On to number 4, and that concerns food. I know Italians are super proud of their food, and it is tasty and good. They just like everything separate. And that's just how their culture is, and it's delicious, don't get me wrong, but I like to mix my food. You get a pasta dish, purely pasta, then you get a meat dish, maybe with a little bit of salad, or you get a salad. And they really enjoy eating everything separate, and it's just a part of how their food culture is. But I just like the innovative stuff. I like to mix things. I like different tastes. So for me, being here for a month, it becomes a little bit boring and not exciting in the long run. But obviously the food is good and great. So this is one of the worst things, but it's a bad thing about a really good thing. Just be aware of it. Number 5 thing that can be challenging is that Italians are not super comfortable speaking English. I'm not from the States and I do know other languages, but I find that when I go to Italy, I enter a new store or something, I always try to greet people in Italian. So I learn a few basic things to say, like ciao, grazie, or buongiorno, and that usually helps a lot. It makes them more inclined to try to speak English, and obviously English is not my first language either, so if they can hear that I'm trying and making an effort, then they won't hesitate as much trying to speak back to you. So this is something you can apply in every culture, I think, where they're not super comfortable in English. They do a great job, so it's not that big of a problem. It feels more like they just have to get over that barrier. And I get that. That's it, guys, for my 5 best and worst experiences from Tuscany. I've been here for a month, so obviously I haven't experienced everything, but these are the things that I thought might be helpful to you when you're planning your visit. Hope you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. See you guys next time. Bye!